Hey guys, this is the Real Estate Podcast and it's your host, Alex Kaufman. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I need you to do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button on your phone if you haven't done so already and share this episode with just one person. It's going to help us get this information out to more people to learn about entrepreneurship and real estate. Thanks. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Those who are interested in getting started. A lot of states offer equity programs for startups. You don't need to be a big corporate animal with hundreds of millions of dollars just to win a license. You can do it with nothing. I've seen it done. So don't be discouraged and just show up.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Real Estate Podcast. You got the 2-for-1 special on the co-host side, Matt and Alex. Sometimes it's just me, but we got Alex here and we are super pumped up. Alex, I know this isn't, you're more focused on real estate side. I'm kind of the cannabis, but you like business in general. So I'm sure you'll have fun here. We got Josh Rogina with Infinity Assets and doing some super cool things. And I'm really excited, man. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're staying busy out there. And just to give a quick overview, you're in the cannabis business and you're also a real estate guy, and you've kind of stayed ahead of the curve as far as getting involved with local municipalities and getting licenses and being pretty entrepreneurial, which is really what we promote and support all day. So if you're all right with it, man, give us a quick overview of your background and how you got where you are today, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Yeah. So my background is predominantly agriculture. I was an ag business major at Fresno State University. And essentially, the cannabis sparked my interest. I wouldn't say I was an avid user, but I enjoyed it recreationally. And I knew that, it was going to be big business in the region. This was 2017, so Prop 64 hadn't passed yet. And I knew, one way I could start out was through the real estate. So I had identified properties that fell within jurisdictions that were allowed to operate cannabis businesses, and was fortunate enough to link up with a team and apply in my local hometown, Merced, California. So our overall business model is real estate entitlements. So what we're focused on doing is, being a license holder. Then we own and operate the stores in which we're holders in. And that was how I got my start. So, the cannabis and real estate definitely go hand in hand due to, typically cities aren't going to just let you open one wherever you want to. And there's a finite supply on the amount of licenses that are issued. So that's where the demand comes in real estate, and really being able to identify those properties, lock them down, and then have an operational team that can apply and win. So that's what we're focused on doing. That's our emphasis in the industry. I'm currently sitting in our Merced store. We're a preferred partner of Cookies Retail. Cookies is a global brand. Many people have either heard of it or seen somebody wearing a t-shirt. Berner, he is the CEO and brand creator. He's a marketing genius, and very fortunate to be within the Cookies organization. So, once we're done chatting it up, I'll give you guys a tour of the store. We've got the Cookies bus here today. So I'll give a full tour of Berner's tour bus. For those who are, Berner fans, there's a lot of them out there. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Awesome. And so on the entitlement side of things, y'all are entitling land for growth, or?
So we entitle the land, and and typically how the structure is and when licenses are issued is the local municipality will have to issue either a conditional use permit or some type of, city agreement that is tied to the real estate. So the business couldn't go move to another location without going back through that conditional use process. So those are the entitlements. We're emphasized in retail entitlement. My partners have cultivation facilities in Sacramento, but those aren't something you just, put everywhere. Retail, the state of California to this day, actually, although it's legalized in the state of California, 80% of the municipalities within the state still haven't passed their local government process for allowing cannabis businesses.
Got it.
So, although cannabis has been legal in California for going on, 4 years, the total addressable market is still fairly significant as more and more cities, come online.
Got it. And so, going from studying agriculture in college, and then wanting to get into the cannabis business, and really, you said that y'all are real estate entitlement. That's what y'all do is kind of your core focus, right? So, did that all kind of come into play when you mentioned you teamed up with the right people, or how'd you go about learning about real estate entitlement to get these licenses and facilities?
I was actually thrown into the fire. Prior to meeting my current partners, I had initiated the process where I was attending city council meetings, uh, you know, planning commission meetings, and was really tied into, you know, the timeline of the city. So I had a lot of prep work established that made it easy for me to partner with somebody, who wasn't privy to the local politics in the city. Um, and, from graduating college, I went into produce. So I worked for Central California tomato growers. We were shipping tomatoes in every state, as far into Canada. And so my expertise actually wasn't in real estate or retail. Those were new endeavors for me, and it was a leap of, uncertainty going into it. But I knew, there's a bright future for the industry and people who, can adapt.
That's great, man. It's super exciting. We're these real estate guys that talk cannabis, and it's called the Real Estate Podcast. But we're constantly having people come on, and I feel like from the outside they're like, "What is going on? Cannabis, real estate? What are these guys doing?" But you're living, and you're like the perfect example. We're just interested in it, in business in general. But you're literally combining the two as a business strategy and a business plan. And so I love seeing that. It's inspiring for us as we're trying to figure out how do we get involved. And we're in Austin, Texas. We're years away probably from this happening. And you gave me a lot of good advice, which is what you've done, which is like stay in front of these, municipal governments and understand the process and get a good group. I know that was a big part of what you've done is get a good group behind you to help you actually get that license. Cause I'm sure you know this, and my understanding is super competitive
Right.
because it's such a weird industry because although it's legal, they still treat it like it's not like you just go buy a beer. It's still very structured, and you get the licenses. Obviously, you have that with alcohol, but it's just not wide open like you would think it would. Maybe it will be in 10, 15 years. So I love it, man. I love hearing about it, and love talking real estate and cannabis at the same time.
I think the two are, significantly related. You can't do one without the other. So, real estate and cannabis, I think is really the big, in the industry, it's the big hurdle, right? I mean, on top of being, a competitive process. You're competing for prime real estate. There's a cap on the number of licenses. There's a plethora of businesses from all over the country, applying. So it is very competitive, and I think the real estate guys tend to have an advantage when it comes to, planning and structuring applications, identifying prime retail locations, or finding a good deal on a cultivation facility. It could be a multitude of things.
Yeah. And so now you are a co-owner in 2 cookies facilities, right?
Yeah.
Um, when y'all are coming to open up these stores, I'm not very much personally involved in the cannabis space, but I think anybody who knows anything about it would say that they've heard the name Cookies plenty of times, and they do have great branding. And this guy Berner he's the owner of Cookies.
He's part of it. I mean, there's multiple owners. And not to cut you off, but I love what you said. Like I believe he is a marketing genius. Like everything they touch is gold. I love it. I'm like, even the packaging and the clothing and the tour bus. I'm like, whatever it is about this brand, I love it. There it is,
Well, and that's what I mean. Everybody, I don't, been removed from the cannabis space for 6-7 years now, when none of this was going on for me. But I do know of Cookies, and
they're the premier. They're,
right.
In my opinion, they're the best brand,
right,
bar none.
And so, how does one go about kind of being able to open up a couple Cookies, stores?
You would have to be a preferred partner. There's a select group of operational experts that have, either been running and owning dispensaries since the beginning of time. That's one thing I've seen, is it isn't just anybody. The group I'm involved with is Legacy Operator. They're the second longest licensed cannabis operators in the United States. They were the first group to launch a publicly traded company in the cannabis market. We're doing the licenses for events like Outside Lands, doing, a bunch of different first time, innovative endeavors. And I was fortunate enough to be partnered with the Green Door group out of San Francisco. So there's about 4 or 5 preferred partners, and the Green Door group is one.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's a huge accomplishment, and I'm sure that y'all are very blessed to be one of the preferred partners of Cookies in this brand and everything you're talking about.
Yeah, dude, he's Josh is sending me videos of the store, and I'm just like, I'm so intrigued. We're so far removed here in Texas. We get to see those bags every once in a while. I wouldn't even call it I don't even know what you call that. It's really cool packaging. Even the material, it's like a different material. I know it when I feel it, and it's nothing that I've seen before. So it's super exciting, man. And I'd love to hear kind of what you're most passionate about within the space, and what kind of drives you, and what the vision is for your business and your operations.
I've gotten the most enjoyment out of our community benefit work. We do extensive outreach within the communities we operate in. Some of our accomplishments that I helped lead are, we build food trucks for at-risk youth facilities, and then donate the food truck so that those within the facility can gain work experience. They have a free place they got a job guaranteed. And those types of projects to me have been what I'm most passionate about and thankful for, that the industry is so aggressive in community benefit work, and really making sure that they get the credit, and because again, it's still cannabis. We've got people looking at us certain ways. That's not what it's all about. We're here to help out, whether we're selling medicine to somebody who's ill or in pain, Those are fulfillment and and joyful moments where you're helping somebody out. So we get a lot of that within the industry, and I don't really see that in a lot of industries at all. And so that's definitely been what I've been most passionate about.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, it's a fascinating space. I know that the cookies bus might not be out there much longer. Would love if you can to kind of check out the store and the bus, and as you're going through it, just hit us
Yeah.
up with some of the history or whatever you think is valuable of what you're showing us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll walk right out to the sales floor right now.
All
So we
right.
can get a little tour of the floor. Yeah.
It's the Real Estate Podcast. You're getting a live tour of Cookies Dispensary, baby. Come on.
What are we looking at here?
Looking at a blunt display. So these are 2 gram blunts with a glass tip.
All right.
Here.
Glass tip. All right.
Yeah. So high end pre-roll.
These signs above the blunts, these are the brands or the.
So these are all Cookies products right here, and these are the strains.
Got it.
Yeah. So we'll head out.
And this is the exclusive bus.
Is he still in here?
The Berner himself in there?
All right.
Never know what you get at TRE.
Yeah, so we're in Berner's tour bus at the moment.
This is Berner's bus. I love it, man. Thank you for going through that.
So the tour bus, it travels around to the cookie stores.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a kid in the candy store right now. Just looking through the glass. I'm not even in the store. I'm just looking through the glass.
Sorry, guys. I couldn't hear you. The music was...
Oh, man. That was super cool. I love it. Thank you.
No problem.
The tour bus, it travels around promoting Cookies products. Does it go to all the stores, or what was going on there with the tour bus?
The tour bus is Berner's tour bus. So he's a musician. That's the bus that he takes on tour. And right now, the bus is just making the rounds to the stores and pretty much just letting fans and stuff go on it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. So like, what is it about the brand? Like, I don't know how to put my finger on it. What is it that sets it? I mean, there's nothing even close to it as far as I am concerned. Like, how does this brand stick out so much and resonate so well? I guess from your opinion or perspective.
At one point in the cannabis industry, you didn't have any brands. There wasn't a Nike, there wasn't an Adidas. So Berner really, looked at the industry as a whole and said, we need a brand, and was the first to put together a brand. And then the Cookies Blue, and the branding, the music, it really replicates the culture that a lot of the industry leaders experience day to day. So I think, as a brand, not only is it beautiful, but a lot of people can relate. So I think that, support he had behind him from the entire industry really helped propel the brand itself. And yeah, I mean, the coloring is beautiful. This is Gary Payton, an eighth, 3.5 grams. And yeah, I mean, they're doing drops almost every week and people line up around the block.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of people in retail, from Louis Vuitton to Samsung, Apple. Very few products get released to market where you actually have people lining up to buy it. And Cookies is recognized not only in the cannabis industry, but retail worldwide, and branding, that they are one of maybe 5 things on the planet that every time they drop something, there's 100 people lined up to buy it. So it's an amazing thing to see.
Yeah, and it really is. And that's like, we're building our brand and our business. I'm like, how do we learn from this? That's why I kind of partially why I asked that. And then obviously the thing that we haven't even touched on is the quality of the product. I mean, it's not only amazing branding, but the actual flower and the cannabis is best I've ever had.
Yeah,
And the smell, the taste, everything. Like, it just killing it on every aspect of the business.
yeah, no, you have to, especially these days. It's a very competitive market. So to stay in front of branding and quality is something to be recognized for sure. I sell a lot of cannabis, and very few companies even come close to the quality.
Mhm. That's amazing. Well, congratulations on all your success there. How do you see the future of the cannabis industry kind of shaping what you guys are doing and your plans for the future? Like, one question I had in my mind while we were walking through the store was, are y'all delivering out to customers, or do customers have to come in to get, these cookie products, right?
Mhm.
Or how do you see things shaping kind of how y'all move forward in the future?
Um, well, over the past 2 years, as everybody knows or has been affected by a virus, um, delivery was a huge portion of the business. And the industry as a whole saw delivery sales increase drastically, from what people used to only buy in store. Now almost every store offers either an express delivery or an express order pickup, where you just order online and then it's ready and you just come in and pick it up. um, the industry is definitely evolving. You know, given that most cities haven't, even considered opening up cannabis businesses yet, the growth is tremendous. One thing that, burdens the industry would be, state taxes, and local taxes, and, cultivation taxes and distribution taxes. So I believe that there's, with national cannabis reform comes a standardization of the industry, where you won't have every city and every state implementing their own preferred rate, So one of the things that makes it difficult to scale is every city has a different tax rate, and every state has a different tax rate and regulation process. So having the ability to standardize everything, I think, is kind of the next thing to happen in the industry. A lot of consolidation occurring. Um, there's way more cultivation facilities than there are retail. So you tend to see a surplus of flower sometimes. Um, One store can only sell so much pot, right? But the farmers can grow almost as much as they want. So there needs to be an outlet established for, you know, that bottleneck and the licensing bottleneck. But I believe over the next 2 years, we will see some reform and standardization in the industry.
That's great. And that's a great point, especially if every single city has a different tax rate, and then every single state, of course, does as well. It's essentially like any store you open up in a different city is its own business. You can't plug and play this model, right? Because there's different
Yeah.
costs. You have to account for different things to make it profitable. So that
That's
is
true.
very
And some people make you get like uh the whole value chain, like distribution. You know, some only let you get one.
seed to sale.
And they like require you you have to sell a certain percentage of your cannabis to this or that. Like it's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
it's very fractionalized.
What's the goal for you guys? How many do you have a goal of how many stores you'd like to open up?
Yeah, we're looking to open up as many as possible, to be honest. Everywhere that is opening up, we're either taking consideration or actually applying in those cities. So we recently won Fresno, California. That's the next store to open, Infinity Assets. And that's kind of where we're at right now. I know, Infinity as a company has got plans to apply just about everywhere.
that's great, man. I love it. Well, is there anything else that you want to touch on or bring up while we're here?
No, I, wanted to show you guys these products right here. My buddy and I launched. They're the only water soluble beverage mix on the market. And it's an interesting concept because, the beverage sector and the cannabis industry is the fastest growing category, that we saw in 2021. Beverages grew 75%, I believe, annually. So cool little product we just launched. I used
Show us those.
Fiverr.
Go a little slower if you don't mind. Okay. Keep going. Keep talking.
So I used Fiverr, and what I was trying to do was, how do I launch the cheapest product possible on the market? We want to deliver products that are affordable. So, Fiverr, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's a freelancing app. I had a guy in another country design everything from, the backs, the packaging, all through an app, spent minimal dollars. So that's something I encourage everybody to try to do. If you're interested in getting in, there's cheap ways to get involved. And this is something,
That's great,
that
man.
I'm proud of doing. So just wanted to share that with you guys.
Yeah, thank you and congrats.
Yep.
Thanks.
Can we talk about it for a second, real fast?
Yeah, absolutely.
So these are. So first of all, I think before diving into the product, I think it's very important, like you just mentioned, that anybody who wants to get in, Josh here literally went to Fiverr and had somebody in another country for, probably minimal dollars and labor spent to design this whole product that he could launch, right? Just take a little bit of action and follow your dream there. But for the product, this is a mix that you dump into water, right?
Correct.
So Matt's always talking about the beverages, and I hadn't even thought about mixes or like things like people love like those Mio things that you put in your water. Do you think that that's kind of a sector of the beverages that hasn't taken off yet?
I do. There's a few companies doing the Mio.
Yeah, I've seen that with Curaleaf.
Concentrated beverage mixes. I just it's a little bit more expensive to mix the fluid than it is to just sell the powder. So that's where I was, coming at. Let's sell something to the customer that's cheaper. All they got to do is mix it. Seeing it, difficulty in the pricing of particular products being, the beverage industry is pretty expensive. When you break down the cost of just one drink, it shouldn't be $20.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of room to work there.
That's awesome. And how'd you come about the flavors that you chose? Because I saw horchata, strawberry lemonade, and lemonade, right? Yep.
I just, these are typically some of the most common flavors in other beverages that I saw sell. And being able to replicate these flavors was fairly simple in terms of an ingredient breakdown. So I wanted to go with something that was, had the flavor that, was as good as it could be. And they taste great. It's, a very, especially the horchata. I mean, it's horchata. Like there's no weed taste.
That's
Tastes just
awesome.
like a normal drink.
And the package there, does that have like little tablets or it's powder?
It's powder. Yeah. So you just pour it, in a 16 ounces of water and stir it. And it's got a 3-minute activation time. It's water soluble. So it goes directly into the bloodstream, trying to replicate that alcohol onset where it's more of a bloodstream rather than a digestive breakdown of the cannabis. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's a simple product.
That one package, is that one drink?
Correct.
Do you think people will make like the big Gatorade style things where you get a whole container and you got multiple?
Oh yeah, no, they're trying it all. I've even seen people buy a 100 milligram beverage and then add this to it to get a little more kick. So it's people.
Well, I meant like
creative.
buying it in bulk to where like, all right, I love this horchata that Josh makes. I'm gonna buy the big container of it, and then I've got my beverages for a month.
Alex is trying to add it to his protein mix.
Yeah, we have to sell them individually based on the cap of milligram dosage in the product itself. So I'd love to combine them and make 1,000 milligram bulk buy, but with the regulations, you can't be more than 100 milligrams.
Got it. So it's the dosing. So to ensure that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Well, a couple more things. Advice for entrepreneurs, kind of what has led you to be successful and things that have worked out well throughout your career?
Honestly, just showing up, whether it's your local city council meeting, your planning commission, getting to know the people in your community, gaining their support, is probably first and foremost when getting involved with cannabis. Not only that, but that's where you're going to meet people as well, because they're going to be at the meetings, and you've got a group of business men and women who are all there in one place at one time. So I would advise that, have your ducks in a row for that day, and then you go network and kind of go from there. That's what I did. And that's still what I continue to do. So that's my advice on those who are interested in getting started. A lot of states offer equity programs for startups. You don't need to be a big corporate animal with hundreds of millions of dollars just to win a license. You can do it with nothing. I've seen it done. So don't be discouraged, and just show up.
Show up, put in the work, baby. I love it.
Yeah.
What are ways that we or listeners can add value for you or reach out and connect if people want to get a hold of you?
They can follow me on Instagram and send me a message if they have any questions. It's Josh _Rogina, Rogina. They could find me on LinkedIn as well. And that's it. I do real estate on the side as well for FarmCom. We are a agriculture real estate company. So ranch development, listings, purchasing. We represent farmers and investors around the country. Really within my region, an emphasis on almond orchards, almonds. That's the main crop around here. So when I'm not in cannabis, I'm in agriculture, real estate.
A man of many talents. I love it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last thing, can you go, if you have time, can you go back to that glass and go slowly one more time over those brands?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it, man. Thank you. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Also, too, if you want to point out some of your favorites.
Okay.
You got lemonade there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go over now.
I'd ask. Those are actual edibles and cookies. They have cookies.
Their cookies look like.
Heavy hitter. So some of these are not cookies products. Like these are not.
These are going to be my favorite right here. These Camino gummies.
I'm trying to remember one Canopy just bought edibles. Wana. Oh yeah, Wana. Do you guys sell Wana products?
So we just dropped Wiz Khalifa's flower. You can only buy it at a Cookies location. Khalifa Kush.
Nice. Some beverages here.
Beverages.
6-pack.
Vape cartridges. Health and wellness. We got bath bombs. These are good for the grandparents.
Stained concrete floors.
Yeah, let me take you guys out front so we can get a front view of the whole store.
Nice, man. Thank you. Oh, wow. It says Berners on top of it.
Berner's cookies.
Love it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So go on here one more time.
All right, one more tour. Till we catch Berner. What up? All right, guys. There you have it. Real estate, cannabis. You understand how these things come together. Josh, man, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for having me on.
We'll let you get back to selling some product and doing your thing, man. So we'd love to stay in touch. But thanks again.
All right, will do.
Hope you have a great day.
You too.
Bye, Josh.
Bye, Josh.